Okay. Let's take a brief look at the H3H3 Character Pack DLC. This was the 9th paid character pack released for Payday 2 and is a crossover with, oh boy, the H3H3 YouTube channel. Okay, so a little bit of background here. H3H3 are pretty popular YouTubers who usually make content about pop culture, goofy videos or articles, internet culture, whatever. For an April Fool's joke for Payday 2 a while back, Overkill released a teaser for the Ethan character pack starring one half of H3H3, Ethan. It was again just a goofy fake character pack like they did in the past with Cash Ketchum. It's only meant to be played up for laughs and not at all serious. It very quickly became serious. And here we are today with the aforementioned Ethan and the other half of H3H3, Ela. Ethan is her husband. Overkill hired them to voice characters in a paid DLC pack in exchange for, well, being in Payday 2 and all of the money from the pack, aside from Valve's standard cut, going to them. This was to help pay for their lawsuit. Another YouTuber was suing H3H3 for a really dumb reason. The entire thing is on their channel. You can look it all up if you're interested. However, in the time between announcing the H3H3 pack and its release, Ethan and Ela actually won their lawsuit. So don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they shouldn't get their money. Obviously, they still deserve to get paid for their work, and knowing them, they will likely give some or all of the income to their program called FUPA, which helps content creators out of similar situations that they themselves were in. What I'm saying is that it's a bit weird to have every single DLC packed into Payday 2 Ultimate Edition except for this one. It can only be purchased separately for $5 US. It sticks out like a sore thumb and will inherently have a higher price to content ratio than Ultimate Edition. Still, maybe you love H3H3 and want to give them some money directly and get to play as them in Payday as a result. So let me go down the backstories of their heister representations. Ethan and Ela are YouTubers who were struggling with a loss. Oh god damn it! Yeah, Ethan and Ela are not playing characters in Payday 2, they are in Payday 2. They look exactly like they do in real life, their backstories are their actual life stories, and they're even just called Ethan and Ela, no codenames or anything. Well, maybe the backstory could be turned into something interesting or charming, maybe endearing, so long as the characters don't, you know, literally talk about YouTube and internet memes in all their lines.
I know you're subscribed to my channel, but have you clicked notifications on? I mean, true friends hit notifications, so I know Chains has that on. I don't know if you have that. Just saying.
Motherfucker. Okay. So, a good amount, not all, but a good amount of their voice lines are literally just memes or talking about YouTube.
Hey man, are you down to do some vape offs tonight at my place?
What? No, I was just watching some videos here. There's so much crap around.
Hey Control, no, everything's fine over here. I was honestly just practicing my man-spreading. I wish you could see me, man.
And I've heard ones about Jake Paul and Bradbury's as well. God f***ing damn it. This is exactly what I and many other players did not want. I can get down with YouTubers playing characters in a game provided it's done in a tasteful, lore-friendly manner. I cannot, however, look past YouTubers as themselves being canonical parts of the Payday 2 gang. I didn't want fucking Shrek memes being delivered by official paid characters in the Payday universe. I might have even been able to accept some of them to a certain extent if the voice acting was better. Voice acting is a field that both halves of H3H3 need a lot of work in. And hey, I'm not saying I'd be any better, I'd probably be a lot worse actually. That's why I have an Easter egg in the game and not full heister lines. But I'll be fair, many of the pager lines, aside from the stupid goddamn memes, are delivered fine. Some of them sound a bit stiff, like it was the first take, but that's a problem a lot of the characters have. The control phase lines of both Ethan and Ela are also passable, sounding downright intimidating when they aren't cracking jokes about masturbating. However, the full assault lines are just bad from both parties for different reasons. Ethan sounds like he's genuinely trying his best to scream and shout, but he can't quite get there.
Watch the shield! Drop your weapon! It's a shield! Faster! Run! Roll! Follow me, now!
He doesn't sound intimidating, he just sounds like he has a sore throat. Ela, on the other hand, doesn't really have much impact with her lines. However, she also isn't trying to do something that she can't.
Oxen! Follow me! Move! Hey, Wolf! On me! They got a shield! Hands up, asshole!
Anyone who watches h3h3 knows that Hila is a bit of a quiet person, and that carries over in her voice delivery. That's not outright a bad thing, though. Overall, I prefer Hila to Ethan, simply because Hila sounds more genuine overall, I guess? Ethan sounds like a bad impression of a normal Payday heister, you know, like I do, as a result of trying to extend past his capable range. But Hila just sounds like herself. And hey, if they're going for the heisters not being characters played by h3h3, but literally h3h3, the more genuine delivery wins out for me. Let's move on to playing another game. I mean, another DLC. I mean, ritualistic suicide. The perk deck. Tag team. This perk deck revolves around vaping. Son of a... Ugh. Why? This is so stupid. It's so f***ing stupid. This joke has always been stupid. Okay, so on top of granting the user a passive 40% HP increase, it's another perk deck that replaces your throwable, this time with a vape. To use it, you have to point your mouse at another player or bot within 10 meters of you. This is extraordinarily finicky, as you have to have your sights directly on them. There can't be any objects in the way like with Inspire. Upon pressing the throwable key, both you and that player will become paired. You'll share a timer on your health. While this effect is active, any enemies killed by you or the tagged player will heal both parties. The player with the perk deck equipped will heal for 10 points per kill, while the paired player will heal for 5. On top of this, kills will grant both players 2 damage absorption each, up to a maximum of 20. This will go away when the vape's cooldown timer resets. The effect lasts for 12 seconds, but gains back 0.6 seconds for both parties for each kill the owner of the perk deck gets, meaning the effect can last for far longer than 12 seconds depending on how well the person who originally activated the perk deck is doing. Once the timer eventually runs out, you and that player will become unpaired. And finally, the vape has a 60-second cooldown before it can be used again, but this is reduced by 2 seconds per kill you or your paired player gets. I know that's fairly confusing, but the gist of it is this. Pick a player and get as many kills as you can with that player to keep both players' health up high, sort of like a mix between Grinder and Stoic with a team play element. The concept here, despite the method of activation, is actually quite nice. A perk deck that revolves around helping your teammates in a very direct and cooperative fashion, I could dig that. The problems lie in execution, however. There is literally no visual feedback on which player you've paired, i.e. there's no effect on the HUD aside from your own health. Granted, this could be subject to change, and I would highly recommend checking the description for any possible updates or corrections if you're watching this video a while after release. Regardless, the actual use of this perk deck is flawed as well. While kills from both parties will benefit everyone in most cases, the player with the perk deck equipped is the one who should be getting the most kills, as that's the only way to keep this effect going longer than 12 seconds. Combined with lackluster healing numbers, far too much downtime between uses, and the inability to activate the perk without the presence of another player, bot, or interestingly enough, Joker, this perk deck will be reserved for veterans carrying their friends who just bought the game through overkill status. And I'm not sure about you, but I'm getting a bit tired of these replace your throwable perk decks. We have Adrenaline, Smokes Whiskey, and now f***ing vapes. Either way, I'll talk about the weapon and my conclusions on the pack as a whole right after the break. Welcome back. So the next thing we'll talk about is the weapon, the airbow. This weapon holds 6 bolts and is magazine loaded, and fairly quickly at that. And it can take poison or explosive bolts as well at the cost of a damage decrease. I prefer it with default bolts, however. It deals 700 damage and has a surprisingly high fire rate, as well as some nice audio-visual direction. I really want to like this weapon, however, I can't. We didn't need another fucking bow, let alone one as objectively overpowered as this. The airbow is perfectly designed to fit into the one down dodge meta. This is where a player would take the light crossbow and China Puff and pretty much one-shot everything. I have a build linked in the corner. But this weapon has 6 times the mag size with a comparatively swift reload and higher concealment for some reason. Look at this thing. Does this weapon scream 28 concealment to you or 31 when modded with no practical potential downsides, this weapon honestly feels like a joke. It feels like something I would have sarcastically suggested be added. The airbow is the embodiment of power creep and everything currently wrong with Payday 2's difficulty and weapon balance. Not counting the drop in ammo capacity, which hardly matters when bolts can be picked back up and reused and Swansong can create ammo out of thin air, and the 50 damage drop, meaning it can't one-shot tasers or medics on one down, which is fixed with basic underdog. This weapon feels like an objective upgrade to the light crossbow, a weapon which was already completely overpowered on the highest difficulty. God fucking damn it, and I don't even have time for your bullshit right now. So that's the H3H3 DLC. I would say I'm disappointed, considering we were told by Overkill multiple times that this would be lore-friendly, but I honestly was still expecting it to be a meme fest. So, would I recommend it? Yeah, no, absolutely not. Keep in mind, if you're a huge fan of h3h3 and love everything about their style of humor and the idea of supporting them, then my opinion shouldn't change your decision. Just go ahead and get it for yourself. Don't worry about what other people think. This is right up your alley and you're sending money directly to them. Everyone wins and that's great. I personally, however, do not want to support the business and marketing decision of putting YouTubers verbatim not acting just as themselves in video games where they don't belong as paid content. I know that Overkill isn't getting any of the money from this DLC, but if it's an incredibly successful venture, Starbreeze may want to do more collaborations like this in the future, and I don't want YouTuber meme fest DLC packs to become a common practice in this industry. And it's not like I'm saying that Ethan and Hila should have done this for free. Of course not. Voice actors deserve to be paid for their work, regardless of one's opinion on the quality of it. What I'm saying is, to anyone who is indifferent, disinterested, or simply a casual fan of H3H3 like myself, steer clear of this pack. Don't buy it just for the overpowered weapon that will probably end up nerfed. I'm happy that Hila and Ethan had a good time making this. I'm happy that they're getting paid. I'm happy for the hardcore fans that will enjoy it, but I would much prefer to support them by simply watching their videos with adblock disabled, or supporting them on other platforms for content creators like Twitch or Patreon if they ever reopen theirs, not by continuing to support a diseased method of DLC content gating power creep that I was hoping was cured by the Ultimate Edition. This is the only DLC that I actively regret spending money on. I should have just waited for the review copy from Overkill, because now I'm part of the problem, and I apologize to everyone for that. So that's that then. No harm or bad will was, is, or will be intended for Hila, Ethan, or their fans. I love you guys, and I hope to keep seeing great videos from you. Sorry to be so negative, but the day this update released also introduced game-breaking audio bugs and frequent crashes, in addition to disabling the VR beta while I was in the middle of making a video for it. All for a DLC that is the embodiment of everything I didn't want. Thanks for watching, and take it easy.